Welcome everyone to today's demo about the new features and bug fixes in Beest version 11.09, which we released recently. It's last week on October 17th. Today we will go over the various changes in this version, and I will also show them to you in the program, in the Beest program. And the changes that we will be talking about are in the items shown on the screen here. One is the emission rates for buoyant line sources. We have changed those. Then we also have a new way to combine output files for partitioned model runs. And then we fixed a bug in entering polygonal area emission sources in Beest. We've also fixed a couple of other bugs in Beest, and that is in importing AirMod input files and filling in the profile-based relation in Met Options, and I will show you both of those later on in this demo. And finally, we have also made a change to our split GRF program to help you display plot files with long file names, and I'll show that as well. All right, so the first item concerns buoyant line sources, which were introduced into the AirMod model, I believe in the December 2016 update. We recently found out that if you are modeling these kinds of sources, your emission rate has to be entered in grams per second in the input file. And in version 11.08, Beest followed the EPA's guidance document and wrote those in grams per second per meter squared, which we find out is incorrect. So now in this latest version 11.09, these will now write emission rates correctly in grams per second. So it will do them in grams per second now. And we actually got a confirmation from the EPA concerning the AirMod model that yes, these rates are supposed to be in grams per second. So that is what we are now doing in Beest version 11.09. So that's a major change in version 11.09, and another one has to concern with another change has to do with partitioned AirMod model runs. If you have a model run where you have multiple pollutants and/or multiple years of metadata, and you're an AirMod with partition, you'll have several sets of output files to combine. And in version 11.09, we introduced a way to do that fairly easily. However, to take advantage of this, you have to run AirMod within a batch file. I'm not going to go into our Beest program and show you how that's done. Show you the new way that's done. All right, so in this modeling file that I have on the screen, we have a fairly simple model with one source and, in this case, one pollutant, SO2. And I also have 5 years of metadata to process. So if I just run this now, there will be 5 sets of output files to combine. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to tell these to partition neuron into 4 partitions, and then I will go ahead and set up my model run as usual. I just want to click include downwash and tell Beest to create all my input files. It will do that, and then for this new method, you have to go ahead and write batch files for your run. So I will do that now. And when I click save and click OK, all of my batch files have been created. And now the next step would be to actually run the model whichever way you've done. So I will skip over that step. and it'll have to run through my batch files here. So let's go ahead and go to the next step, which is actually, now that we have all the output files for all of our years and all of our partitions, let's go ahead and combine them. And what's new in Beast version 11.09 is this new entry on the results menu called batch combine partitioned results. When I click that, as you see, there's a list of the batch files which we just used to run the AirMod model. If you click on one of those, you will see it has all runs for one of our partitions in the 5 years. So now what I will need to do is select all 4 batch files here on the left-hand side and click OK. And once I do that, these will combine the output files for all 5 sets of our results corresponding to our 5 years of metadata. Let me do that now. And then click OK, and then that is done for you. This method also works if you have multiple pollutants and multiple years of metadata. For example, 2 pollutants and 5 years of metadata, etc. Now that that's done, I can go ahead and display my output as I usually would. Select one of these combined output files, for example, for the year 2011, and then just do my results as normal. So again, what's new here is that you have to run AirMod with batch files, and then once you use this new menu entry in Beast, you can combine everything for multiple years of metadata in a single step. All right, now after this, there have also been some bug fixes in version 11.09. And the first one concerns area poly sources, which are polygonal area sources. The emission rates for all types of area sources, including this kind, can be entered in grams per second or a total emission rate, or as a unit emission rate, grams per second per meter squared. And if you did the latter, then in our previous Beast version, it wasn't saving the emission rates correctly. It kept dividing them by the source area. This has now been fixed. So let me show you where that bug was previously occurring. So to see this, I first have to set a preference to enter the emission rate as grams per second per meter squared. And Beast actually gives you the option here in preferences to enter it that way. So if I select it and click OK, I can now go into my model and see that I have an area poly source here. And if I edit the source, you can see my emission rate here is 0.03 grams per second per meter squared. And if I change that and hit save, or hit OK, it'll be saved as what I entered now. And it was previously saved. It was previously not doing that right. But now in version 11.09, if you do use this edit sources form, whatever you've entered as the emission rate is being saved correctly. Again, if I just check that again, it'll be done right. This column did not affect the source grid view. That worked correctly in the past, just the edit sources form, and that has now been fixed in version 11.09. Next, we had a bug with the way that we import background concentrations into Beast from an AirMod input file. Typically, you can import all of your model settings, including emission rates and background concentrations, using our file import menu. And one of our customers discovered that the background values were not imported correctly if they're varying by month and hour of day. This has now been fixed in version 11.09, and we've actually checked that for all kinds of concentration values that we always import them in the right order. So that's now been fixed. In the Beest model, what I'm talking about here is if you click File, Import, and say import this generic AirMod file, that's where this happens. So if it's like this file and say import, if this file had background concentrations, which it doesn't, they would be imported correctly. Or say they are now imported correctly. And not only for this scenario was varying by month and hour of day, but for all of them. The next change is in our Meta Options screen. In Beest 11.08, we introduced a way to retrieve the station elevation from a database of stations. But what's happening is that if you select speed on your Meta Options, it imports the elevation in meters, and now it doesn't do that anymore. So let's go ahead and go back to our Beest model then, and go to Meta Options here. So you see my elevation is down meters. If I select feet there and click the retrieve button here, this will not be filled in feet, and that's the change. This is not filled in feet and not meters, as it was in the past. All right, and finally, we also changed our split GRF application, which is part of the Beest suite. What happened in the past there is that it was is that you couldn't see long output file names if you had any. All right, so for example, if I go to our C. All right, so for example, if I go to the Beest directory here, as you see, we have the directory. As you see, we have okay. So we have a long output file name here. This one max ECONT. So previously, what would happen is that in this program you couldn't see you could not see the complete file name. And we had two changes here that allow you to do that. First, you have a horizontal scroll bar here. That we have a scroll bar here so that you can see the complete file name. And you can also expand the window, and then you can see the complete file name as well if you expand the window or if you resize the window. Those are the changes in our program in version 11.09. I will now go ahead and take questions from the audience. Thank you for attending the demo.